everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, narrated by Disney, or Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it. Legends. Today I have for you issues number 1 to 5 of Legacy 2. So, it is 138 years after the Battle of Yavin, and a couple years after the events of Legacy. Non-spoiler wise, we have the new triumvirate of the Galactic Alliance, the Vale Empire, and the Jedi Order. We have a new Imperial Knight that we haven't heard of before, Master Vale, who goes to go on a mission to help outlying systems to kind of just start bringing healing and peace to the galaxy. Of course, he goes to a planet where, unbeknownst to him, someone dark and dangerous attacks him and takes his place, impersonates him, and a lot of other stuff happens. We also get introduced to an Imperial Knight named Zhao. So stupid. I was gonna make a joke. The Mace Windu of post Return of the Jedi content, because I can't think of any really big. Not that race matters. I'm just saying I didn't think about or have any person really described as black in the series. I'm sure there were black Jedi that were part of Luke's order. We just never got to hear about them. It's weird. This specific series actually gives me a lot of vibes to the Disney movies, or at least the first one, but done slightly differently and continuing off of previous continuity, because you have Zhao, who's kind of like, he's this, he is this Imperial Knight, he serves the Empire, but he has the Force. It's kind of reverse of how Finn also worked for the Empire, but he didn't have the Force. You have Anya Solo, who, which apparently not even the Vale Empire knows about, so everybody's confused as to the origin of this girl. But you have her. She seems to be a lot like Han. She's not a smuggler, but she's like a salvage person, kind of like how Rey was. I'm not trying to make too many comparisons to Disney. I'm just saying, because I don't know if this came out. I'm pretty sure this came out before Disney. It's kind of been closer to Disney's, so it's kind of weird. But she's, just like that. We have a fun robot character, which I quite enjoyed him. And we also have a Mon Calamari character, so that's also fun to see one of those people here. And it feels a bit more lighthearted from the entire Legacy storyline. The art is a mixed bag for me, because it's not as detailed or as beautiful as Legacy was. However, it is very stylized. It seems like, to me, it doesn't feel like it's bad animation or bad artwork per se, just that it's a different style. But overall, I only did the first 5 issues because it kind of has like a chapter end at the end of the 5, so I figured stop there. There's only 18 issues, so they should not take that long. But it was certainly interesting. I'm just giving you my overall thoughts, then I'll give a non-spoiler for, I'll just do that now. So for issue number 1, I just said introduction to where things have been since we last, read the Legacy storyline. Issue 2, AG-37, that's all I'll say there. Issue number 3, Heroes Unite. It's all the characters that we've met, Zhao and everyone, they kind of meet up in that one. Issue number 4, The Sith Return. Sort of? We'll get into it in spoilers. And then issue number 5 is the finale to the first part, where we finally get to learn the villain that we've been following with no name. We get his title. And that is about it for non-spoilers of those 5 issues. Like I said, it's definitely not as compelling as Legacy. I'm only 5 issues in. There's 18 issues. However, the fact that it's only 18 issues, a lot of things feel like it happened quite fast. And it talks about like friendship and like at some point it talks about friendship and like protecting your friends, saving your friends, and I'm like, you've known these people for like not even a day. Like it's been like at most the Mon Calamari, because we've established that you knew him before the start of the comic. But everyone else you just met. What do you mean friends? What are you talking about? I don't know, that was a little weird. And I don't know. Maybe we'll get more fleshed out from these characters, but as of right, it's not bad. I enjoy the dynamics between them. I enjoy the dialogue. I think they're fun. I just don't have much of a connection to them because everything happens so quickly. But we'll see if that changes. They only have there's 18 issues. We have 12 issues left to develop these characters. I just don't know how much you can really do with that. But I guess we'll see. But overall, it was okay. Certainly not the worst thing I've ever read in my life. And I find the villain interesting. He definitely doesn't like the one Sith, which we'll talk more about in spoilers. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm interested to see where this finishes, because this is the farthest thing in the timeline of the old EU that we have. And after that, there's nothing. So I'll be curious to see how that ends. But if you don't want spoilers, you haven't read the series yet, time for you to click away. Or if you just don't care about spoilers, stick with me. So, I already mentioned how the Imperial Knight, Yalta, is trying to head to outlying systems to help with it, to help rebuild and everything. But he ends up crashing an unknown planet, and he's attacked by the Sith. The Sith gets murdered by this guy with a helmet, and then he just kind of disappears. And then the next time we see Yalta, he does not look the same at all. Not the same color, not the same anything, like a completely different person. Because he's impersonating him. Because, not a lot of people know what he looks like, I guess. Salk, I don't know how to say this Mon Calamari's name, and Anya. Soak is working for this ice mining place. It seems a lot of people are disrespectful, calling him scum and a hoarder or whatever, and because of the Mon Calamari massacre from Legacy 1, this guy's just trying to get by, and people are giving him a hard time about it. Anya finds a piece from the planet of the thing that we just talked about, where the Imperial Knight got attacked. She wants to sell it. She finds a lightsaber. That's kind of what starts the whole conflict of them running away, which happens very quickly, so it's hard for me to really care. And then we also get to see Stasi, the Galactic Alliance, general leader. You get to see Karuk again, the Jedi leader, and the Empress Vale, and Draco again, so it's nice to see all of them. They're not in much of it, but they are there. They're trying to run, the new triumvirate. And then we see by the end of the issue that, we don't see AG-37, that's in issue 2, sorry. We see lastly that Val's imprisoned by this imposter. Issue 2, the imposter will let Val go, but only if he embraces the dark. Very Sith thing. We also get to meet AG-37. I don't know if they're going to expand upon this or what, but he's just a really nice, helpful, and kind assassin droid. Because he's like the same series as like IG-88. But it's never really explained why he's helping them. He just is. He's apparently been around since the original trilogy, but it doesn't really explain why he's helping them or why he's nice to them. We're just supposed to accept it, old debts or whatever. I mean, I guess there's this man on YouTube. His name is Lore Runner. He does ruminations and lore runs of video games and ruminations of movies and stuff. And he talked about the Star Wars movies, and he came up with this term called droid effect, and this applies to other works besides just Star Wars. But with droid effect, now in real life, of course, I don't believe that, no matter how advanced AI got, I would think, whatever they were able to do, I don't believe they'd be able to surpass their programming, because I don't believe human beings are just a brain. I believe in a soul, but that's a different topic. But the point is that in the Star Wars universe, at least, the longer a robot goes without a memory wipe, the more self-aware, the more personable they become. R2-D2 never has a mind wipe in any point in his life, so he tends to be the most human of the droid counterparts. Now, of course, C-3PO after Episode 6 essentially never has a wipe again, and he gets a bit more, human-like, but he just basically stays the same annoying self he always is. But he was mind-wiped a bunch. But so, the thing with this AG is that, he could very easily, he just lived a really, really long time and he's become sentient, but I still don't fully understand why he's helping our heroes, but whatever. AG-37 saves them, and so he kind of just becomes a part of the crew. We meet Zhao, who's another Imperial Knight, who seems to be becoming a main character as well. We also get mentions from AG that the prequels were the most peaceful time, because he's talking about how he had a lot of hope for this new triumvirate between the Empire, the Galactic Alliance, and the Jedi, because during the prequel era, yeah, there was a lot of, it wasn't completely peaceful. There was stuff going on, but in the grand scheme, of course, the grand scheme of things, there was a dark Sith Lord working in the darkness with Palpatine. But before Palpatine finally struck that noodle, and even during the Clone Wars, though I think he's talking about more in between that time, between Darth Bane and then the stuff that we actually get to see in the movie, that is relatively peaceful, which no other point in the galaxy has really been like that. There's always been something going on. So that was just interesting. Issue number 3. Sal meets up with everyone else, and so he becomes a part of the crew and helps fight off this monster, because they kind of launch down on this place. This planet. Oh, sorry. And this tentacle monster thing attacks them, and so he helps save them. That's pretty much all that happens in that issue. Issue number 4, the Imposter, again, very Sith thing to do, just chokes the governors. You should really listen to me, because this can happen to you if you keep being a butt. The Imposter believes in Bane's teachings, because he basically mocks the one Sith. That's another thing. So not all of the one Sith died at the end of Legacy. We still have Darth Nihil. We have Darth Talon. They both got away. They did not die. So they're somewhere. They're apparently building up, some sort of army or something in the outskirts. I'm sure we won't get a story of that ever again, because the expanded universe was discontinued. But this guy, this Imposter, does not agree with the one Sith at all. In fact, he very much embraces the what I believe is the true way of the Sith, which is the rule of 2. He explicitly says, yeah, you're right, one Sith are stupid. There should only be 2, one master and an apprentice. So he very much believes in that philosophy. Though, of course, later on he does say he does not hope to bring back the one Sith or to help them. He wishes to be the only Sith. So that's interesting. The governor releases the heroes because he doesn't like what this imposter is doing, of course. And so they escape to do stuff. Zhao Slices. There's a big fight that happens because Anya is too impatient. She shoots down the ship that the imposter's in, but of course he gets through it. Basically beats up Anya really easily. AG-37 gets beat up really easy. The Mon Calamari dude, he gets beat up really easily. The only one who's able to handle himself a little bit is Zhao. And of course, Zhao slices his face, but the imposter gets away. Then we finally get to issue number 5, which is just a continuation of that fight. And then AG-37 talks to Anya about the Solo name. Mentions how, because she says, I can't do anything. I'm not special. I don't have the Force. I'm just a nobody. Which, again, felt really unearned because it's only been 5 issues. I don't even know you. Why should I care? But anyway, because on the one hand, I think the speech was written really well. Like, I like what he has to say to her. It's a good character building moment. But I don't feel like we reached this place yet. If this feels like this should be like issue 10 or like the end of the series. Like, you can do this. You can fight. Maybe she gains the power. And Deus Ex Machina wins the day. I don't know. But like, this is only issue 5. I barely know her. She ran away because of the stuff going on. Met all these people. All these people met together. And he talks about like, hey, Han Solo was just a smuggler. He wasn't special. He wasn't super. But he stuck by because it was the right thing to do and because he wanted to save his friends, implying that they're all friends. But they're not. She doesn't know any of them. She only knows the Mon Calamari. That's the only one that she can actually call a friend. The other two she barely knows. I don't know. Because I think it's written really well. But it just doesn't work with how early it is for this to be happening, in my opinion. That's just how I feel. Anyway, issue 6. The Imposter is basically broadcasting on like the HoloNet or whatever, showing Vale how he's going to kill him in front of everyone. And he finally announces his title. His name is Darth Redd, I think. It's Wredd. Darth Redd. And he is going to do evil things, I guess. And that doesn't work out. And so we'll see what happens moving forward, I guess. But that's pretty much it for issues 1 to 5 of Legacy 2. Like I said, it's certainly not as good as previous works. And it's a mixed bag when it comes to the emotional moments, at least so far, because it's only 5 issues in. And I don't know, that like whole Friends thing did not feel earned to me at all. But whatever. I'm not, if I sound negative, it's just, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm enjoying this more than I enjoyed Fate of the Jedi, if I'm going to be completely honest. But, that being said, it just feels a bit unearned, and it feels like everything's happening a bit quickly. But, that is pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, sharing them so let me know what you thought of these comics in the comment section below. Please do not spoil future issues. I mean, by the time you actually have these, by the time I upload this, I'll probably already be done with the series. But still, for people here that have only read issues 1 to 5 and don't want to be spoiled, please don't root for them in the comments, or at least put, like a spoiler warning. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.